What should we say? Oh, that was a picture. Did anybody know when you do Instagram video, you have to hold down on it in order to do the video? You can't just, yeah, that was a smart moment. We are live right now. Harry Mack, swipe up. I feel like that got the point across. What do you guys think? Go on my own that in this section.
I like art.
What kind of art?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, no complaints.
Guys, you know like in basketball when you have like the one sleeve and the shooter sleeve? What the fuck is up with the one headphone look? Hang on a second. Yeah, what's up? I like to use half of my ear. Yeah, that happens. Life is difficult. Limit your hearing. But you look good.
Oh! Oh! Let me heal, let me heal. Okay. Oh my god, all the way over there, dude. No, Marcos! You fucking healed!
Hi everyone, you wouldn't believe me if I told you here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of the new Jack Harlow album, Come Home, The Kids Miss You. This is the sophomore commercial record from Kentucky rapper Mr. Jack Harlow, and this feels weird. Does this not feel weird right now? Like, this whole album cycle, all the hype that Jack Harlow has been getting, up to this point, we have kind of been building up to this record as if it would be our first introduction to Jack. Like this project would be some kind of massive revelation as to who he is as an artist, as if he'd reveal something to us that we haven't heard before. But the truth is, we already know who Jack Harlow is, artistically speaking. We've heard what's poppin'. He's already had a full-length debut 2 years ago, and it's not as if the guy is a total industry plant or anything, because he has a whole mountain of singles and mixtapes that came out before that debut record, if you really want to get a sense of like what brought him to this point artistically. And while it's always a surprise when someone makes it, there's nothing really all that surprising about why Jack Harlow is so appealing. He makes cute, smooth, little college campus bops with some clever one-liners and a mildly charming delivery. He also has this kind of disengaged, unshaken demeanor about himself that we often confuse with coolness. It's kind of funny how the more disinterested someone seems, the more their intrigue increases among the public, because, ooh, they must be so smart. And Jack is actually smart, to his credit. He may look like a scruffy Abercrombie and Fitch model, but he's also proven himself to be self-aware enough to really navigate his sudden trajectory into fame flawlessly, keeping the controversy low and the charisma high, which is maybe why this new record here feels like a second introduction to Jack Harlow in a way. Because I think most people assumed when he first broke, his fame, his time in the industry would be somewhat short-lived, and maybe not transcend outside of that audience of Lyrical Lemonade fans and white kids who were vibing with him. But now he's risen to a level of prominence where he has widespread music industry support. He is nailing down fantastic features with some of the most legendary and popular artists of his day. It's kind of mind-blowing how far he's come at this point. But while there's never been more praise for Jack up till now, there's also never been more hate too. Me personally, I didn't really like his debut record. I pretty much wrote off a lot of his early tapes as super derivative Drake drivel, which it was, but I think Jack has grown more into his own voice since, and I've mostly grown past any kind of partial disdain that I've had for the guy and the way he operates, and I've sort of moved into more of a Jack Harlow neutrality, I suppose, where I mostly feel like he's fine, He's not hurting anybody. He's not stealing anyone's spot, certainly. He makes very polite pop rap that is cool when it's on, but there's nothing so amazing or even offensive about it that is going to linger with you when it's off. Except, I guess, when he's talking about how sweet his semen is. Look, I went into this Jack Harlow record with a positive mindset and not high hopes, but hopes that this thing would at least be enjoyable and engaging from front to back. Because here's the thing, Jack Harlow is great for a verse, he is good for a single, at least some of the time, because I do think First Class is one of his most boring songs ever. But still, I think Jack Harlow has proven that he is amazing in small doses, which is great for a generation of music fans where streaming and playlisting has made it easy to be a casual fan of everything. I've heard Jack Harlow's verses and flows at their lowest and their highest, and going into this LP, I didn't really get the sense that he'd be overextending himself too much here. He's playing it as calmly as he ever has, in fact, maybe a bit more so than before, because I think he's learned at this point that, you know, functions for him in terms of getting an audience. The point I'm essentially trying to make here is that I'm yet to get the sense that Jack Harlow is much of an album artist, and if Come Home the Kids Miss You exposes anything, it's that he is still not really quite there. Because across this entire record, he still comes through in a very one-dimensional, one-note kind of way. His monotone flows get very old very fast. The ultra-dry, light, and inoffensive production isn't doing much to carry things either. Really makes you kind of appreciate the few moments on this thing where you do get a little bit of that Pharrell flavor. Not only that, but most of this LP is so lacking in lyrical and instrumental detail. It's kind of mind-blowing to see that there are moments here that have more than 10 writer credits on them. Like, I'm sure there's an explanation as to why, but what is the reason? There are people who could have produced and written the song Dua Lipa on here by themselves in their mom's basement, and that's actually one of my favorite tracks here. Which, yeah, there are a few bops on this record that I do enjoy, which again, Dua Lipa sounds like a kind of moody, nocturnal Drake-style banger, but Jack, I think, has his own voice and slight spin on it. There are grooves and some one-liners here that are worth replaying. Nail Tech is that horn-heavy lead single that we've been listening to and digesting for a while now. The more I hear it, the more I feel like this is Jack's own little industry baby, where lyrically he's very much speaking on his success and plugging even more deeply into his unplugged attitude. State Fair, the closing track, I thought was pretty nice as well. The keys here are great, and it's kind of like a dreamy little diary entry where Jack is updating us on how his life is going since the fame. But a lot of the rest of this record feels like it's scratching many of the same itches, but to a lesser degree. Or frankly, there are just cuts here that get kind of stale because Jack's very one-dimensional delivery and writing style just doesn't really hold up to long lengths of time. Plus, on top of it, there are tracks here that completely lack structure. Choruses, Jack's not exactly so charismatic and fiery and passionate that he can go like an entire huge dense freestyle type verse and kind of keep me on the edge of my seat the entire time, which is exactly what makes tracks like Young Harleasy as well as Churchill Downs with Drake so boring. And sure, Jack does come out of the gate on that one with that metaverse line that's pretty clever, but outside of that, we're just kind of getting this very flatly delivered endless string of passionless one-liners that just gets really old really fast. Drake isn't really doing anything else other than just kind of echoing that same energy and dragging the song out unnecessarily. At a few points, you know, dropping these bars that are very much in reference to Pusha T, kind of vengeful in tone, but you know he's not really going to do anything. It's just, you know, barking. It's just bullshit. This one line where Jack goes on about all that time in the kitchen finally panned out, which is cute, the pan. I put some flavor in the pot and took the bland out. But no, this is bland. This is the definition of bland. This is ramen without the flavor packet. But yeah, a Drake feature on a track like this for an artist like Jack Harlow should be fireworks, should be an event, should be a reason to be excited. But On this LP, it's really not. Also on top of it, the Lil Wayne feature on the song Poison is one of his worst that he's had this year. Worse than the moment that he had on Dawn FM. Like eating so much shrimp you get iodine poisoning? Ugh, like fucking awful bar. One of a few in his verse here. And on top of it, his autotune and vocal runs don't fit in with the instrumental. It sounds like a total mess. Justin Timberlake is a total non-factor on the back end of Parent Trap, a song that's so boring it's not even really worth sticking around to hear what the rest of it sounds like once you're halfway through. And Snoop Dogg's appearance on Young Harleasy is so phoned in, it's not even worth really calling a feature, like Jack's the Mac. Jesus Christ. It makes me wonder, are people genuinely excited for and supporting Jack, or are we all just showing up at this moment because it's the thing to do? Like, we got an invite to the party and we don't want to be rude. And are the producers even showing up on this thing, again, to take on the song Parent Trap? You are telling me heart and soul and focused effort went into the way this beat sounds? This tiny-ass beat you'd have to have playing out of a stack PA on your roof, cranked to 11 for it to wake up the neighbors. I mean, the key loop is fine, but that's about it. So while there's nothing too standout or special about much of the material on this LP, it's also hard to be mad at Jack too, because this thing is so freaking inoffensive. There are some kind of ill-conceived song ideas here and there that don't go over too well too, like the very muddy acoustic guitar loops on the song Side Piece, or the very weak reggae flip on I Got a Shot. But again, nothing so bad it's preposterous, and no matter what it is, you know, a highlight or a low light, what we're hearing is so bland it could easily melt into the background and be played in such a way where you don't even really need to listen to it attentively. But yeah, that's kind of this record as a whole. It may not on the surface seem as substanceless as an auto-tune and reverb slathered mumble rap record, but really truly it is, though. It is as substanceless as anything that might be derided in that way. Because ultimately the track list here brings more fleeting vibes than memorable songs. The production is very one-note too, and while I'm sure for Jack there is a lot of personal, emotional investment in his own success, he doesn't really have too much to speak on outside of that topic and maybe some crushes on some girls here and there. And not that those can't be worthwhile topics for songs, they certainly can, but Jack's statements on these things never really amount into too much of a memorable or a grand statement, or even, again, a memorable song, as Jack seems pretty averse to structure and hooks throughout much of this project too. So yeah, overall listening to this album kind of felt like staring into a void. A sweet, cute, charming void, but still kind of a void. And do I hate him for it? Do I think he's the worst? Do I think he's trash? Do I think he's garbage? Do I think he's cancer on the body of hip-hop? No, I don't think any of that. I think that he's just not really delivering in a way that I expect someone to when they're at this level of success and relevancy. And I think Jack Harlow could honestly be trying harder. He could be trying a lot harder to actually make songs that are a lot more memorable and catchy. Maybe bring a bit more energy and versatility to the table. I know the value of him sounding as cool and as laid back as he does on a song like Nail Tech, but that doesn't need to be your only gear. So yeah, again, I think if this record shows anything, it's that Jack doesn't really have too much, artistically speaking, long game right now. You know, again, good in short bursts, but when we hear him try to really go the distance, all he ends up doing is showing us just how little he has to say. I'm feeling a light to decent 3 on this one. Tran. Zishin, have you given this record a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. And yeah, over here next to my head is another video that you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Jack Harlow, forever.
Prepare your regrets.
Look, Narash, I will show no mercy. Khan versus a fountain golem.
Prepare your regrets.
This was not in my contract. The knife beckons. No, no, no!
Have a drink. It's on me. I mean, physically, that's where it is.
Oh, let me guess, Takan. Something on the rocks? Good luck. Oh, you can't go wrong with that one. They're irregular.
Is that rat wearing a little crown? That's adorable. Okay, squash it.
Khan versus the Rat King.
Prepare your regrets. Unleash me. Unleash your soul. Your soul. I squish you! Your soul is mine. Your soul soul is mine. Your soul.
The citizen.
Tekan versus Nozari.
Prepare your regrets.
Dragons, protect Dalaran! Time to burn!
Unleash me.
You are nothing!
Your soul. Your soul. Unleash me.
Madam Goya runs the black market down here. Don't buy anything!
Tekan versus Madam Goya.
Prepare your regrets.
I know who you are. I know what you've done.
The hidden army rises.
Unleash me.
The black market takes a modest cut. Perhaps you are not the fool I took you to be. Think of this as an investment in our future relationship.
Your soul. soul I love.
Come, try your luck.
I squish you! Oh, I lost.
Not gonna lie, I really thought the world record was 1840 and I was tilted. And then it was 1849 and I'm happy. Ish. I mean, there's no purples in that run. Oh, that didn't. Those last three bosses did not feel good. But maybe a different time.